good.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. And today I get to hang out with my friend, Matt Tebo, who is the market leader for Vistage, which I'm sure you've heard of him. It's the largest CEO peer advisory company in the nation. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Johnny. I am just excited to hang out with you more, man.
Yeah, dude. We hung out and it was like fireworks, man. It was crazy. See, most of the time I'm asking the questions, but Matt, he got me on the hot seat super fast and started asking me all these questions. And I was like, that's a kindred spirit right there. So
And
love
I
your
will
energy.
probably ask a few questions of my own here. So yeah, I just want to,
Yeah,
want to
I
hang
see
out
you,
with
man.
you more, man. So appreciate
You're a
it.
rebel. You're a rebel. You're like, I dare you to interview me because I'll interview you right back.
This is not going to go well for either of us. No. So,
Dude, all right. I want you to start with telling us a little bit about your personal manifesto. I know you have that written down. That was one of the things that just really struck me when we first met was the amount of self-awareness you have. And so I'd just love to hear kind of how you describe yourself on your, I think it's a manifesto. What would you call it? What would you call that piece of paper that you referred to?
yeah, it's my why. It's why I'm doing this. And I wrote it like for my professional Matt. And now I'm like, actually, I just kind of like it for like all of me. And so I've rewritten it a couple of times. And you may
Yeah.
have seen me kind of reach off to the side and mess with something. That's because it's here, like
Yeah.
it's taped to my desk, and this version of it is pretty messed up. So
Yeah.
probably gonna have to rewrite it soon. I even signed it, so maybe you're right. Manifesto might be like an okay word. Like I didn't like sign it in blood or anything.
With
But
blood, I was going to ask if it was blood. Like that is
yeah.
the accepted
Oh yeah, I'm
mechanism.
intense about this. But yeah, I was just really fortunate to be asked to do that. Like, sit down, take 15 minutes, think about it. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And so I took the assignment seriously, and here's what it says. So it's when I'm being who I'm meant to be, I bring new, strange, and beautiful ideas into the world for people to bond around. I am charged with tracing a constellation of people who are changing the stars for their families, communities, and organizations. And
Bro.
that's what I'm doing, and I'm sticking it back here on my desk because it's not going anywhere. So,
Dude, that little dog-eared yellow sticky note is so beautiful to me, dude. Yeah. I mean, how long did it take you to come up with that?
I mean, I wrote the first version in 15 minutes because we were
Yep.
asked that. They told us. They were like, and I'll tell you more. These are chairs. These are the people who lead these think tanks that I work in. And they said, hey, you have 15 minutes. You do not get to like overanalyze this and obsess on this. We want to give you enough time, but not enough time for you to just get in your head. And they were like, knock it out. You can rewrite it later. And I was like, okay. So I took me that 15-minute time, and then I rewrote it a couple of times. Each time maybe took me another 10 minutes ish, probably. So this is probably the fourth version of it. But I loved that. So I have a little bit of a background in the fine arts, and that idea of like creative constraints. You only get 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to hammer this out. Like, we
Yeah.
all know it. You're writing a paper, and it's midnight, and it's like, it's got to be in by 8 tomorrow. It's like, man, I come alive a little in like a weird way, and I like that they did that. Don't get too precious. Write it down. It's just your life. It's just why you're here.
It's just your
So,
purpose. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I need you to read that one more time.
All right.
Sorry. It's so huge, dude. Strange, beautiful, those words, man. Go ahead. One more time.
So, when I'm being who I'm meant to be, I bring new, strange, and beautiful ideas into the world for people to bond around. I am charged with tracing a constellation of people who are changing the stars for their families, communities, and organizations.
It's so beautiful. Now, tell us a little bit more about how that dovetails with your profession as market leader. And this is in Denver. So market leader for the greater Denver area?
For Colorado, and then
Okay.
I also work in Kansas and Missouri. So got
Okay.
in a little corner of
Okay.
the country here and everything. So
Okay.
um yeah, it's that second part that I think relates to it most. I am
Mm-hmm.
charged with connecting a constellation of people. Because ultimately, like that's what Vistage does. So when you earlier you said peer advisory,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people hear that and it's like, what? I think I know what that is. Like things like that. It's really just like let's put people around you who, when you don't know what to do, you know who to go to. Like to me, I used to run this like STEM social enterprise thing and basically made money for a nonprofit, and it was the question we asked these kids constantly is, what do you do when you don't know what to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they always had the right answer. It was like, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to find somebody that I trust and I'm going to ask them what they think, and then I'm going to do some research, and then I'm probably going to bring some more people in. And ultimately it's that thing of like, so peer advisory is just we build, think tanks of CEOs so that somebody can go and say, hey, I've got a problem that is high impact and high complexity, both those things, and I'm not sure what to do. That's the time where you just need like a whole team around you to say, well, have you thought of it this way? No, you
Yeah.
don't have a problem, you have an opportunity. Like, and it's those conversations that are just like so cool. And I just, yeah, that's the part that relates to my work. I get to sit in those rooms where people get to like have supportive, trusted, vulnerable groups around them to say, what is keeping you up at night? How do we stop that? And
Wow.
that's been super cool.
So you get to sit in the rooms and participate in these conversations?
Oh man, you are not allowed to be there if you are not participating. This is a full contact sport. If you think you get to come in and like sit to the corner and be an observer, it's not that doesn't work. This is, if you're there, you are present, you are engaged, and I love that about our chairs. I thought the same thing as I came into this role. I was like, cool, I'm gonna sit off to the side. In the very first meeting I went to, the chair, Nancy Gears, she told me, now Matt, you're gonna be around all these people. They own businesses. You don't own a business. You're not a CEO. You're still part of this group, so you're gonna play all in. And I
Wow.
was like, wow, thank you. And that's been so cool. So yes, everybody who gets to be in that room, you're on the hook. You need to be contributing to that group from however you can. So
So what I've noticed in you, and I think also in the enterprise, is there's a seriousness to it.
mm-hmm,
There's an intentionality to it and an excellence to it.
mm-hmm.
You know, is that accurate? And how is that distributed down through the organization? I'd just like to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. We say that this should be world class. Like there's that is the bar.
Yep.
It's got to be a world class experience for people. Um, and I think that it's that seriousness, but also like a little bit of playfulness of like, this is our lives. Like we're sitting in this room, we're spending like these precious moments that we have in our existence with each other,
Yeah.
and that's like so cool. So it has to be like we're not wasting time, but it's also so serious that like there's a little bit of like, well, we have to be human with each other, because otherwise like we can get lost and trapped in our heads at some level and stuff. And so it becomes this very human space really quickly. And honestly, I think those two complementary things, I think some people think that those two shouldn't exist together, like world class, like really driven, like all these kinds of things, but also the people that are just like so in touch with who they are as people that they can tell like, how is this affecting you personally when you talk about this, and can bring that in, that humanity into those situations where we've maybe tried to separate the humanity. And honestly, I think
Mm-hmm.
so it's really this complementary thing where one hand actually washes the other and contributes to
Very
the whole.
cool. So in the same room, we could be digging into a balance sheet. We could be talking about a personnel problem. We could be talking about a personal problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it sounds like it's the whole person
Mm-hmm.
that they're bringing to the table. How do
Mm-hmm.
you make people safe to bring all those different elements of themselves?
Man, it is a to be a chair. So if you imagine going into one of those rooms, there's a person in charge of it,
Called the
and
chair.
that
Okay.
person is the chair.
Okay.
And to be a chair is just like the wildest job I have ever seen. And it's those people who do that, who make that space, who intentionally like select every person that's going to sit around that table. And so it's really that like you're going to be like you've been kind of like chosen in a way to like join this other group of like people who just want to like make their lives, make the lives of those in their organization like better, and that just flows outward. And those chairs are just like fully instrumental in that. Like that's a wild skill. Generally, our chairs come to us. They're a successfully exited CEO. They've maybe owned a couple of businesses, things like that. And the thing that they have to do is they have to like level up again. That's not enough. They have to then get to a higher level of like I need to like be aware of like what's beneath the surface. We can't just spend all our time in the head. We have to spend a lot of our time in the heart, because you're right, like that trust doesn't come immediately. I'm not built to just go around and be overly trusting with people oftentimes, and so it has to be built. It's like a muscle. The way that I've heard some of our chairs talk about it is like we need to practice that muscle. and
Yeah.
and we're it's a confidential space, so yeah, we're gonna talk about things that nobody else should know about outside of
Yeah.
this room. No one else
Yeah.
gets to talk about this. So that helps, but it's really the people and that flexing of that trust muscle, and our chairs are just gifted humans in being able to do that. And yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about them. Every time I get done with a conversation with one of our chairs, I'm like, man, how can I talk to more of these people? So it's kind of
Yeah.
fun. But
Yeah, yeah. And you aspire to that one day, correct? Like to be a chair. Is
yeah,
that
I think that would be really cool. Like I said, I've never seen a job that looks like this ever.
yeah.
And it would be a pretty neat thing to be able to be trusted by people to say, yeah, when I don't know what to do, I know who to go to, and I know who's going to pull together a team of people that can help me. So
Yes.
yeah.
Very cool. Now let's take a little journey back in time.
Okay.
Let's understand a little bit more about, because you mentioned art, you're trained in art.
Yeah.
And so, how does this all come, and then and I know that's important to you. Art and creativity are important to you, and that was even a part of your manifesto was new, strange, and beautiful ideas, right? Which
Yeah.
sounds like what an artist would say.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about history, how you came up, defining moment? It's a tough question. How does art fit into all of these things?
Yeah, my man, one of my favorite people in the world who I don't talk to enough, and this is making me think that I should go and talk to him, is Mr. Richards. He was my high school art teacher,
Yeah.
and he would play The Floor is Lava with us, and he would do all these like really just like, how do I put it in here? New, strange, and beautiful things. Like I'd never seen a teacher who was gonna like sit there and be like actually like heavily consider what I was doing, the weird little art project I was doing, and like
Yeah.
really take it seriously. Like he
Yeah.
had that similar mindset that I talked of earlier of like, we're spending our lives here talking about this. We cannot waste a second. And that was just so cool to see. Um he I had some really good fortune. I was a full ride athlete at CU, and so I was able to, without any like parents kind of sign off, I was like, hey, I'm kind of paying my way here through my track and running and stuff, and was able to say, hey, I'm going to continue pursuing my art because that was just where I was fully alive.
Yeah.
And I told my parents this. I was like, hey, this is something that I'm going to do the rest of my life. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of my life for a job, but I will do this. And so I'm going to learn about it, and I'm going to like kind of take it seriously. And that was just the like a wonderful like time in my life to be able to just like do this weird thing and like be like, yeah, I'm gonna try that art thing and I'm gonna do this project with my friend. And it's not like nowhere in my life did I ever expect to be doing this, but I am. And yeah, I think a defining moment in my life actually happened there, and I'll probably end here. But it's kind of more on the athletic side of things. I was running, and I made it like my freshman year to the NCAA championships. I was in the finals. I had been a good runner in high school, and with a mile to go, I was in the last All-American position, and a bunch of guys passed me. And so I fell out. I wasn't going to get All-American.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm a freshman. I'm gonna make it sometime. Like probably next time I'll get it. And then a couple laps later, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it now. So I went, I caught that group, and I barely managed to be All-American.
You did.
I did. Now, that was the high point. I never got back there. All that like mental stuff about like I'll get it next time. I'm going to have this big glorious career, and I'm going to like, I'm probably going to be an NCAA champion. Never even was All-American again. I barely made it to NCAAs the next 3 years. It was embarrassing, and it was hard.
Yeah.
And I remember that point in my race where I was just like, no, I'm going to do it now. And I think about that a lot in my life. I'm like, I'm rarely on those stages where it's like, oh yeah, I have to do it now. But like in my life now, a lot of times I'm just like, I should do that now. That seems important. And that's been very helpful to me. So
that's cool. Now tease that out a little bit for us, because it sounds like there's a nugget there for other people to chew on. You know, like this idea, because I hear this in you, and I think some of this comes from the organization, and I think some of this comes from you. It's this idea of redeeming the time, right? Like when we have limited time. You know, you and me have limited time. You're with me for an hour, and you know, you've chosen to spend some of your precious life with me. How do you recognize those moments, and how would you counsel other people to recognize those moments, or maybe have a mindset shift that allows them to reach further than they normally would?
Well, first off, you may have seen me frantically getting a pen and stuff. You said this thing about redeeming the time. I had to write that down because I want to remember that, and there's something about that language you use. No wonder you're a poet. Like that came out, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I think that a lot of times there's people, and it's not people, but like it's just like there's sometimes people are just like, yeah, you know, this doesn't really matter. Maybe this is just like on my way to somewhere kind of a thing. And like I don't quite get that. Like we're always there. Like, even if it's not, we're on the cool vacation, you know, we just bought the sports car or whatever. I don't have any sports cars, but like, I just bought the bike that I'd been drooling over for a bit or whatever. Like, those are fun, those are cool, but like, we matter, like, so much. Like, people just fundamentally, to me, matter. And if that's like the core of your belief or the foundation of your belief, like it's a lot easier to say like, yeah, today matters. Like man, whatever I'm gonna do is gonna be cool, even if it's something, you know, just small, whatever. So, and I think the first step to that is saying that like I matter. And I don't think that that's something that we probably say to each other or ourselves enough. And so man, I love that phrase, redeeming the time. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you're inspiring me, man, because I understand what you're like you're a person, what you tied it to, which is interesting. Understanding the significance of the moment is tied to understanding the significance of my own life, right? Like if I value my time and I value my potential and I value others deeply,
That.
then right, I value others, then of course I want to value their time and my time
Mm-hmm.
because that becomes sacred or precious to me.
Yeah.
Right? There's some of that I hear in
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying, and it's cool, man. It's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. It reminds me a little bit of so I'll tell you, I can always tell when I'm depressed because
Ooh.
I skip brushing my teeth. Right? So like,
Mm.
you know, if there's a night where I skip brushing my teeth, now at the age of 50, I'm like, Johnny, you're depressed. You skipped brushing your teeth. Right? Like, you're depressed. Something's going on with you.
Uh-huh.
Something's going on with you because, right? Because it's like there's this force inside me that starts to say that things don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you don't brush your teeth. But that voice is often a function of something unhealthy going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a wrong view of myself and the world,
Yeah.
right? And then it manifests in that little way.
When did you realize that? What and how, if you don't mind, like how did you realize that even? Because that's like, I don't have that, but I feel like there are certain things in my life that I've been like, oh, that's my tell. That's my
Yeah.
tick that I,
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
figure it?
It must have been one of those moments when I think it was just you have certain experiences that repeat themselves over
Mhm.
time. And then sometimes you can get awareness in the middle of it that it's happening. And so
Yeah.
it was something like, you know, me really just not wanting to brush my teeth and being like, I'm too tired to brush my teeth. I mean, it's late, you know, and being like, oh,
Hold
wait
on.
a minute.
I'm not too tired for a 1 minute task.
How do I feel? What's
Something
going on
else.
inside of me? What's going on inside of me? And then being like, oh, yeah, I'm really sad. I'm stressed. I'm sad. I'm stressed. Something's going on. Something's not right. And, oh, you know what? It always manifests. That's one of the ways that always manifests when it gets to a certain point.
Yeah.
Is that lack of motivation? So I can't remember the specific time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of those things you become aware over time, living in your own body. And I think everybody has those tells. I think everybody has something like where it's like, yeah, when I skip brushing my teeth, it doesn't mean, you know, I just skipped brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
It means something else,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
and it's a great little wake up call. So what did I do? I remember that time I was like, fine, I'll go brush my teeth.
Not doing this. I'm
Right.
gonna. That's such an interesting thing. There's the concept. One of the people that I've met recently. His name's Bob Dabbick. He says this thing. He says, with awareness comes choice. And like just hearing you say that, like,
Yes.
oh, that's what I'm doing here. Am I? And like, not that depression is a choice. I'm not
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But like, we do have like some level of agency to say like, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit here and things. So
Yeah, dude.
that's so interesting.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, man. So let's get back into this creativity thing,
Oh, yeah.
the school thing. Thank you, Mr. Richards. Shout out to Mr. Richards.
Here we go,
For
Sheldon
being that-
Richards.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
text you soon, man. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it today. I'm doing it today.
Yeah, yeah. Man, so often it's a teacher. Mine is Antonio Vigil. It's so often it's a teacher, man, who sees something, who inspires something just by who they are, and it changes a life, dude. My wife is doing that every day. My wife's a teacher. Shout out to Sarah Levy, Mrs. Levy, over at
go
TCA.
Sarah.
Her students love her, and she transforms people's lives by her presence, right? Like making people aware that there are different ways of being, different. Awareness brings choice, right? Like I could grow. You believe in me. Somebody loves me. Somebody believes in me. Somebody's made this opportunity for me to have fun and be engaged. So shout out to Mr. Rich. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how this creativity and this artistry continue to develop in you, and then how you ended up where you are now. Because they do seem, most people would say, market leader for a CEO, a peer advisory company, artist in college. I don't get it.
Where do they fit?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use at least one prop here. The thing that I am gonna talk about is what's behind me. So this is a design for an integrated circuit and my dad did this. And my dad's an engineer, and he has told me many times, he's like, I don't have a creative bone in my body. And like, this is one of the coolest things. I was in college when I found this rolled up in our attic, and I was like, this is a fascinating visual thing. And he took me through it. He told me, oh yeah, this is kind of the markings. These aren't actually show up on the chip. These are just kind of like registration marks that we use like to kind of show where things need to go, stuff like that. And I was just like, and he talked about some of the problems that they were solving. And it was at that moment that I was just like, oh my gosh, like my little focus on like my creativity is here with my pen and my piece of paper and stuff. And like I really just kind of got beyond myself and saw like, no, it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
My dad, he when he writes, he always uses these pens that kind of have like a lot of ink that kind of like comes out pretty nicely and stuff. Um, he is the most beautiful and strange like mark making in the world.
Yeah.
Like there are artists out there that would kill, absolutely kill to be able to just like make shapes and flourishes and do these like fluid movements that he does. And so it's really funny to have realized that like kind of late, like oh yeah, no, like we're all we're all creative.
Yeah.
How are you doing it? And so that's the part that to me gets to what I'm doing here that really fills that bucket of myself is that like the arts are within the humanities. We're about being human. We've made art for a long time, like all that kind of thing. Everybody knows. And I think that a lot of times like CEOs are in situations that are like kind of inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only person in their organization that like the buck stops with them. And we're like I believe that humans are like designed to be like in community with each other, and so like
100%.
we need that, and so to put ourselves in a situation where it's like you're the only one, you're
Yep.
the only one is like
Yep.
inhumane, and like there's a part of me that like lives in the humanities that's like we gotta bring that somewhere else. We gotta get that humanity back into these situations that are so important to like how a company, how a team like grows. Can we, all these cool things that we could do if the organization was healthy, can come from a leader having more humanity in their lives. So that's how I see like this absolutely connecting to my work. And then when I sit in our meetings and I see like it's that same thing of like seeing my dad tell me about this and like show me his creativity. I see that all the time. All of our people are sitting around and they're like, well, I don't know about that exactly, but here's what it sounds like to me and what I've experienced. And they come up with this new, like, totally different situation, and it unlocks something. And it, like, you can see a light bulb go off in the other person's head when they're hearing about, like, somebody else's experience with something very different. And it's like, this is what we need more of. And so that's how I see it as connected to my, you called it origin story, my little arts background and stuff is that it comes from there and it still lives there as I go about my day-to-day work and send my emails and do all my stuff. So
Bro, there's so much beauty in the way that you think and the way that you speak. And you may not know it, but you artist. I'm a poet, right? Artistry comes out of you, bro. Artistry comes out of you. Like
thank you.
like I tie this back. What you're describing, I tie it back to what you had in your paper that you read about connecting the constellations or connecting the stars, right? You're connecting. You see your work as kind of creating this beautiful tapestry between people that leads to human thriving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's what I hear underneath the words is like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you are a bringer of thriving or a creator of spaces for thriving. And this is and that's artistry as surely as taking out a brush and some paints,
Hmm.
right?
Thanks.
But it's just a different canvas.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
I see.
And that's the thing is like it exists like all over the place. Like people are doing this naturally, but like there are certain things where it doesn't occur naturally. And so we like this, and that's what I feel like my work is like in those spots where it's like, yeah, that's hard. That's a really hard spot to be. find those people around you that are gonna be able to help you with that. So it's I like that you call it a tapestry, because like it's a lot of it is just like pointing people to the right place where that could really help. You having other people around you could be so life changing. So
And there's a lot of different names for this idea. Like I think Dan Sullivan has a book called Who Not How.
mm-hmm.
I've got a buddy kind of slash drive-by mentor named Bob Bodine who wrote.
I'm writing that down now. Drive-by mentor.
Drive-by
and
mentor.
Shout out Bob Modine.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Bob Bodine. And Bob Bodine wrote a book called The Power of Who. And there's many others. There's many others that are illustrating this concept, and it's the concept basically that I mean, why am I doing these meetings? Why do I do these interviews? Why do I assemble groups and cohorts of people? It's because I have a conviction down in my soul that the greatest advances towards thriving come from connection and collaboration. Because the value, so I'll talk a little bit about this. The book I wrote, The Superpower Quest. Why did I write that book? Because I went through a process of understanding, going from being a child, raised in a tough neighborhood, who believed I really didn't have any value.
mm-hmm.
I didn't think I had any superpowers, right? I didn't feel very super growing up. And going through a process of revelation to be like, wow, I like my design, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I have these weaknesses over here, and they're weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some serious weaknesses, bro.
Uh-huh.
But then I have these crazy strengths over here, and taken all together, it's actually very beautiful,
mm-hmm.
right? Because the lie that we've been told, and the lie that so many of us believe, is in this kind of individualistic heritage we have,
Mm-hmm.
is I have to do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worthy unless I can do it all myself. There's
Mm-hmm.
some sort of a judgment call or a judgment on me as a human if I need help. It's a negative thing to need help.
Yeah.
And I learned, whoa, I've got this shape, this cool shape. And then I began to be able to see other people's shape and be like, wow, that lady's got a cool shape.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's got a cool shape. He could do something I can't do. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do that thing that he does like you. There's things you do that I couldn't do in 1,000 years. And instead of being like, oh, I guess that's a knock on me because I'm not everything.
Mm-hmm.
No, like let's have it brings childlike awe out of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, what those other people have that, like, man, they could do so much cool stuff. Like, I've run into so many times in my life where, like, my shape doesn't fit that. They could do all that. And, like, I love how you talk about that as shapes. Like, we're all kind of, I'll just have, like, this little bit of very uniqueness to ourselves. And we oftentimes see that as, like, that's the part where it's not. That's where it went wrong. And it's like sometimes that's actually where it went, like, perfectly right. And somebody said this to me recently. It was actually in one of our meetings. Looking back, this makes sense. And they were talking about who they are as a person. Like, looking back, they'd kind of just been building for a very long time through, like, all these, like, weird things that, like, didn't make sense to them. And then looking back, they were like, I was the perfect shape to have been the only person that could have, like, lived this particular thing that showed up when I was 45.
Yeah.
But I was getting ready for it. I didn't know I was getting ready for it when I was 13. But looking back, it makes sense.
Yeah, man.
And that's fun that you've seen that too. And
I've definitely seen it. So when you say like isolation is inhuman, so often the CEO is isolated because they're the only one and they're supposed to be the person that can do it all and can never fail, and everybody's leaning on you and you're the last point of failure. And you call that inhumane. I haven't heard that before, but I resonate with it, right? It's inhumane because yes, that person needs to be in community. needs people to lean on just as much as anybody, and otherwise that person does become the weak link, right? Because you will break by yourself, right? And gosh, I was talking to somebody, HB Pasley, a friend of mine down here in the Springs, was saying everybody needs trusted people around them who believe in them and who will speak the truth in love to them. Now,
Yes.
paraphrasing a bit, but this was a conviction that he's come to, that it's not optional. Community is not optional. And that's what I hear you saying when you say isolation is inhumane. Right?
It's funny you say that way, because two of the things that we fully believe. So, Vistage has been around for 67 years, and two of the things that we believe about like what needs to happen for somebody to get great clarity, no matter who they are, if you're a CEO, if you're a business owner or not, you need to have people around you that you trust and that challenge you. And those two things, like we talk about that all the time. Okay.
Yep.
Do I trust them? Do I care about them? Do I challenge them?
Yeah.
And so that's so cool that say his name again, your friend.
HB Pasley. He's a coach. I just interviewed him, so that's up. It's live. I'll send it to you.
I gotta see it.
Also has a musical artistic background and balances that with a lot of business and coaching that he's done, and it comes together beautifully.
Awesome.
Like you. I'm going to ask you the question. So looking back at your life, what makes sense to you about the way that you were to now?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time where I think I was just like in my own head a lot. And I didn't realize that that all the good and like amazing stuff happened when I got out of my own head and just like went and talked to somebody else, like really cool. And that's honestly like why I'm here, because like when you and I first connected, I was just like, and I kind of said this at the top of the recording here, was just like, I just want to hang out with you more. And like, and that was sort of the thing that like, it took me a very long time of not getting that to really get it. Yeah. To be like, no, I'm not enough. Like I am enough, but also like that's not where the good stuff happens. Like I'll think all the fun stuff or whatever, but like when I just like when we just talking to somebody is like so fun. And like hearing about like what they're up to and what makes them excited. And so I think that's the thing that makes sense now, as I look back on it and I was like, why did I have to be so in my own head for so long? And I think it was because I needed to learn that like, and I heard somebody say this once, and it's like life is a lesson, and the lesson will be repeated until it's learned. Yeah. And so I repeated that lesson a lot of like, I am all I need. I can, think and just be in my own head all the time and stuff. And so I learned it very well after I'd tried it so many, like millions of times. But like, no, like go and just be with other people, and that's going to be so much better. So that's the thing that makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. And it does make sense because you know, when you have to learn it that way, when you have to learn it and the teacher that's teaching you is actually your own life is teaching you, then you can speak that out and live that out from your guts, right? Like it becomes conviction. And so connection to you, now there's a preciousness to it. There's a joy in it. It's authentic. It's real, right? You're not having to fake it and be like, well, I'll just fake it till I make it. No, this was endowed to you. This is a gift that was given to you that you now get to give to other people.
I thought it was a curse. Like I was like, what's wrong with me? Like with other people that don't get me or whatever and stuff. And then finally realized like, no, that was a gift, and it felt like a curse for a long time. And I just hope more people have that in their lives. So as soon as they can, ASAP.
which part of it felt like a curse?
The part where I thought like, oh, I can just be in my head, I can come up with my own answers, I can, do all I can learn everything I need to by myself.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the part where that was like that wasn't, and I could feel that for so long that it wasn't right, but I wasn't aware of it yet. And then finally when I was aware of it, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've got to do something else. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, and now that's a part of your purpose. Like even that whole like connection, the idea of connection, being a connector, is underneath all those words that you wrote on that sticky note, right? Like as far as calling and purpose and mission, it's so much of it is to connect people and to foster thriving through connection, right? Through
yeah.
authentic connection.
Yeah.
So
People
man,
need,
it seems like
yeah.
you're
People
a
need
good
to
fit.
flourish. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So why do you care? It sounds like you serve CEOs primarily. So you're serving leaders on a daily basis. That's your work, right? You're fostering thriving for leaders who may otherwise live in unhealthy and inhumane isolation, right? Why do you care about these people?
I mean, like at the end of the day, like they affect a lot of other people's lives. Like they have that weight that they're walking around with. And I care because like all that should happen in the world is that more people should have more of what they need, and like for somebody like to be in a position where it's like, hey, I can materially change the direction of this organization. If this organization, this company, this small business grows and thrives, like we can do amazing things.
Yeah.
There's this program called the Leadership Exchange. I mean, I used to work on that quite a bit, and it would be take 175 business and civic leaders to another state, another country, and learn like what's the thing that over here, what's the secret sauce. And oftentimes, like it was this cool thing of like, hey, we learned about this housing policy up in Minneapolis, and we should try that here in Denver. We should take this thing from like Dublin and try it over here, and that was awesome and cool. But what I see us doing is like it's just like, hey, instead of like trying to change things at like that level, maybe like the policy level, it's like if we can just get the leaders to have everything that they need and the organization can grow, we may like they might have they can pay their people well enough so that they never have to worry about like, hey, do we have the right policies in place, for, affordable housing, like to be within reach of everybody. And like
Yeah.
that is so cool to me that like, hey, there are people out there that like it based on how they can organize a team, a constellation of people around them, they could really change things for every person on that team, for every person in their family, and that's going to just echo out like into the community. And so that to me is like a really cool thing. That's why I care, is because I think those people, those leaders of those organizations, often, not all the time, but very often are fairly isolated. If you think about it, hey, I've got 5 VPs within my company. Each of those VPs like it has a peer, no real peer to the owner. And so like if they can have what they need, they can like unlock some sort of like benefit for the community. And so I see that as very extremely fulfilling to me.
Yeah. Because you desire to have an impact, right? Like that was evident from the moment we got on, and you read from the paper. Underneath that is even a desire to affect change and to create thriving on as large of a scale as you can. I hear that.
Yeah, we had this event called Chair World out in San Diego this year, and so all of our chairs, all those leaders of those groups from all across the globe, they got together. There were, I think, 900 of the 1,200 that we have in attendance. And somebody did the math, but it was like, hey, this is how many people that this group, just sitting in this like ballroom here, like affects. And I forget the number, but I heard it and I was just like, yeah, there we go. Like there's some scale to that, but it happens like at such a personal level.
Yep.
That person so well that you can call them on that and say like, hey, we talked about this last time. You were gonna, we the whole group talked about it. You were gonna change something. Did you change it? You didn't? And you're personally know them enough to like be able to credibly challenge them and say like, I really wish you would have done that.
Yeah.
Dang. And that's
Yeah.
pretty big. So
Trust and challenge. Trust and challenge. You got to
Mhm.
have both.
Yeah.
Man, dude, I love what y'all are doing. Even just the little tiny peek into it that I get from listening to you. It sounds amazing. As we come to the end of our time together, I would like you to tell me a little bit about your dreams and where you're heading.
Yeah. I hope it's not the end of our time together. I'm gonna start there. So I hope we keep hanging out and everything. But I get that this'll be the end of things here. I think my big dream is like people have what they need. I've got two boys. I worry sometimes about like, hey, what's the world gonna look like for them? And I realize like in that, and it's been this really wonderful thing of like, oh my gosh, every other parent, I'm like every other parent who's just like, man, I want my kids to have like awesome, amazing things. Um, and so it, it makes me not special to want that, and that's like the best to just know that like, oh man, when we're we're doing drop off at school, seeing all these other parents, knowing that that's like the desire. So I think I just want like more people to have that in their lives, like very very present in their lives, like because I think we all know it like on a pretty like we know that on a fairly deep basis is like, oh man, like people are pretty cool, and I just want more of that to happen, to be, yeah, for that thought to be all over everybody is we should take care of other people, because in doing so we're going to be taking care of ourselves, and that to me is like, that's the thing. That's what I want. I want my kiddos to
That's
be
what you
taken
want.
care of by people who have no connection with me. I want to take care of other people's like kiddos, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles that have no connection to me. Like we just should all be wanting more for each other. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm.
man.
It's my dream.
Matt Tebo, you are an inspiring young man. I am a super fan, dude. I love what you're doing. Love your story. Love where you're headed. Love what you're bringing into the world. Just keep going, brother. 'Cause you're doing some amazing things.
Appreciate it. So, and this has been super fun. Thanks for hanging out a little bit more, Johnny.
That's a good time. And for everybody who stayed with us up to this point, that's another banger for you. Another inspiring human, to encourage you and to call out the greatness that's inside of you. Because every single person I'm bringing on the show, we get to spend an hour mining and naming and looking at that special gift. But all of this is for you, because you have a gift, right? You have something special. You have unique endowments. I want you to be able to name those, push into those, and excel and fly. So we'll see you next time, and we appreciate you all for hanging with us, and take it easy, everybody.
See y'all.